Roy here, and this is my channel, new channel graphic. Roy reads anything because it's a channel about eclectic reading. On this occasion, I'm going to be talking about occult detectives, and it's a buyer's guide to anthologies of occult detective stories. So if this is a genre you think you might want to explore by getting a book with a whole bunch of short stories, I'm going to talk you through the options that are currently available of print books, collecting stories in that genre. So just a little bit about what is an occult detective, quoting Judika Isles from one of the books I'm going to be reviewing. Regular detectives solve crimes or mysteries. Occult detectives explore paranormal mysteries or use their own supernatural gifts to solve crime. To qualify as an occult detective, some sort of supernatural or occult element must exist, although what appears to be supernatural sometimes turns out to have rational, mundane, or conventional causes. And as Isle says, there are various kinds. There are detectives who basically do normal detective stuff in order to figure out a paranormal mystery. There are occultists whose occult knowledge is what they use to deal with the uncanny, and some might have their own psychic powers or supernatural abilities. So interesting field that started in Victorian times, and all the books I'm talking about have stories in them from that sort of classic period. Not just that maybe, but they've got some of those sort of early stories. So diving right in, I've got 4 books to talk about and some notes I'll refer to as well. So one of the collections is The Ghost Slayers, edited by Mike Ashley. This is in the British Library Tales of the Weird series, which I might have mentioned in passing before. Great collection. You're getting 9 stories with a price of £8.99, so that's just about £1 a story. And like all of the collections, you get an introduction overall to the book and story by story. And so there's nothing to choose between them in that sense, in that they've all got sort of scholarly and useful information that guides you into the tale and gives you the context. Ghost Slayers, along with all the other books, there are 4 occult detectives who appear in all of them. So those guys are, checks notes, Flaxman Lowe, created by Kate and Hesketh Pritchard. So Flaxman Lowe, probably the first of the serial occult detectives. He's a psychologist in the sense of exploring psychic phenomena, and also an Egyptologist, and he applies that knowledge in a pipe-smoking kind of way to solve mysteries, usually involving some sort of contaminated house that's been, assaulted by some sort of evil forces. So you've got a Flaxman Lowe, you've got a Carnacki the Ghost Finder, William Hope Hodgson, great character who's had a long, long afterlife of being, people still use him in things such as League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and there are whole collections of other books about him. So William Hope Hodgson's character, who is likely to turn up to solve your supernatural problem with equipment, including his electric pentacle. Claude and Alice Askew, a husband and wife writing team. Their character's called Aylmer Vance, kind of a mysterious background. He's clairvoyant. So a series of tales from him. And the other one who's in all of these collections is Dr. Taverner by Dion Fortune. So a medical person who brings their skills to bear on the weird. And Dion Fortune, an occultist herself, who writes this kind of story. Again, not an uncommon thing. So there's the sort of big 4 who anthologized a lot. What's distinctive about this? I guess one thing is it's in Tales of the Weird, so if you like collecting the Tales of the Weird books, this is a good one to get, because it's another one of those, and it will sit on the shelf alongside its friends with its beautiful beautiful cover. But also, outside the big four, these stories tend to be concerning quite obscure characters. So Mike Ashley has surfaced some rarely republished stories, which is nice. Okay, so that's that one. Also by Mike Ashley, Fighters of Fear. Now this is a big book, and it's quite a hefty price tag. It costs, let's see, $18.99. I paid £26.84 for it from in the UK, but it has 31 stories. So I guess this is the one to get if you don't mind spending a bit more and kind of nailing the genre with lots and lots of stories. Despite the huge volume, you've still got the introductions for every single story. So distinctive things about this one is that it's not just focused on British stories, so it's a lot more transatlantic, and the stories go right through the 20th century up till the late 90s with a story by Jessica Amanda Salmonson about her character Penelope Pettyweather. So if you want lots and lots, and you want to see the whole unfolding of the genre and how it's sort of carried on almost to the present day, this is a great one to get. Price-wise, with 31 stories, you're talking about 86 pence per haunting with that one. Supernatural Sherlocks, edited by Nick Renison. Lovely cover using some Victorian type of graphics. Unfortunately, this has got a sticker on it. Can't do anything about that. This one costs $9.99 and brings you 15 stories. So that's just 66 pence per Supernatural Sleuth. And great collection. Again, you get the big four. You get a lot of other stories, but Nick Renison's editorial approach is slightly different because he is happier to include one-off investigators. So people who one time only find themselves in a supernatural situation and use deductive reasoning and detective skills to resolve it. So it's kind of a mixture between the kind of things you're getting in the other books and perhaps more it's a wider horizon of classic ghost stories, but really good. So you get an H.P. Lovecraft story, for instance, and the Conan Doyle stories. Finally, the Weiser Book of Occult Detectives, edited by Judika Isles. It's 13 stories, and I paid £10.39, so a reasonable 80 pence per story. Big four are here, and a really great selection of others. You've got Sax Rohmer's Morris Claw. You've got the classic Green Tea by Sheridan Le Fanu with Dr. Martin Hesselius. Probably one of the first of this kind of stories. And you got literally the first of this kind of story, some would say, the story called The Pot of Tulips by Fitzjames O'Brien. His detective character is called Harry Escott, appeared in a couple of stories in the middle of the 19th century. Algernon Blackwood's John Silence, and Ella Scrimsmore's Sheila Crerar. So this one, again, beautifully presented book. I guess distinctive things about this is probably a focus on the series characters, edited by someone who is expert in practitioner in pagan Wiccan stuff, so has a kind of that sort of perspective, which again kind of links her with the authors. A lot of the writers would have been at least agnostic, if not believers in psychic phenomena themselves and in spiritualism and that kind of thing. Yep, another great collection there. So all four are good. Hopefully I've given you a bit of an idea of the differences between them. if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose one, I'd probably go for Judika Isles. I like the series characters. For me, the inclusion of Sheila Crerar, she's probably my favourite occult detective. Um, she, she's the one who will physically attack the ghosts. Okay, so she will probably armed with some sort of device or artifact. She will pile in there and be throwing blows. And you know, if I was a client, I'd kind of want that kind of hands-on involvement and commitment, perhaps more than some of the more abstract, this is interesting kind of guys in the other stories. But all a matter of taste. They're all great. Hope that's useful. Back soon with other stuff. Be great if you like, comment, subscribe, that kind of thing. And let me know if you would like me to do a video about any of the detective series and characters in more detail. Something I'd love to do, but I'm not going to sit here talking to myself only, or to the spirits. Something I'd love to do. I'm going to have to edit this end, aren't I? Okay, see you soon. Bye.